Someone asked me a very interesting question during a coaching session, and that was, what is happiness? He gave an example in which he said that some youngsters, for example, make some videos that have some offensive content, disgusting content, or content that sometimes hurts or harms somebody else as well. And that very content gets a lot of views, likes, and even money. So they are getting happy as a result of that. So is that definition of happiness not contradictory to this definition of happiness that I generally talk about? So here's the answer to that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel Manifest with Sagar, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. They are getting views and likes. They are not getting happiness. They are getting money. They are not getting happiness. They think that that is happiness, but that is not happiness. So what is happiness? Happiness is basically three different experiences, three different feelings. PCS: peace, contentment, and stability is happiness. So if you are not experiencing even one of these things, you are not happy. Certain things can give you excitement, certain things can give you joy, certain things can give you a dopamine hit, but not happiness. Because if you are not experiencing even one of these things, you are not happy in the real sense of the term. The definition of happiness does not change as you grow old. Your understanding of happiness corrects or becomes correct as you grow old. So the follow-up question that he also asked during this question was, what is the purpose of life? So what is happiness and what is the purpose of life? Now that you are in this world, whether you like it or not, the purpose is to enjoy this physical world, to make the best of it, to make the most of it, and then share that with others. That is the purpose of life. Now, in a crux or in one line, I can say that the purpose of life is to be happy. But then, let me give that example. As a 19-year-old, I may make a reel which is probably offensive, which is not very good or very, good for the society as well, for example. And I will get a lot of views and likes on it. I'll get a lot of money as well as a result of that. And I am in that moment serving the purpose of my life, of enjoying my life or making the most of what I have, isn't it? So the purpose is being served at the age of 19. And I may feel like I am getting happy as a result of that. Now that is not happiness, right? But that 19-year-old has not realized it at that point. He may be serving his purpose of life, but he is not actually experiencing happiness. Now, as that person evolves, he realizes that that is not giving me happiness. That is not giving me peace, contentment, or stability, right? So, even though I am serving the purpose of my life, I am not experiencing happiness. So my understanding of happiness gets corrected as I grow old. So maybe doing something else will actually give me that real peace, PCS basically. My throat is always bad whenever I'm making those videos that I think are the best. So does being happy mean that you are not dependent on the physicalities of life or the material aspects of life, or that you should not be driven by the material aspects of life? Not at all. You can also be driven by the material aspects of life, but just don't be too dependent on them. Remember and note, I did not say dependent, I said too dependent, because you would be dependent on many things for your overall comfort or your overall life, or even for your PCS, peace, stability, and contentment. You would be dependent, but then don't be too dependent on that. Don't let that affect your happiness. So today, if this house or this car is not giving you what you actually want, still try to keep yourself happy. Keep yourself happy. That is the motto. I have to make that tattoo here on my wrist. Keep yourself happy and busy, of course. But then you can't be busy all the time, because you are a physical human being who wants to sleep at least 8 to 9 hours a day. At least I need 9 hours of sleep. But that is where the idea of unconditional happiness comes into picture as well. Don't be too dependent. Keep yourself unconditionally happy as much as possible. And unconditionally happy does not mean becoming a celibate. That is a very, very extreme kind of an idea. That is a very, very specific direction in which you can take your life. You can, but I would not recommend that. Keeping yourself unconditionally happy means essentially keeping yourself happy based on the simple things of life. Use simple conditions. This is a smart play, actually, because simple conditions are in abundance. So when you, like a robot, hook your mind on the simple pleasures of life, there is a guarantee that you will be happy for a consistent period of time in your life. So, how do I keep myself happy? I'm a 5-year old. I'm not trying to be a 5-year old. I'm not a wannabe 5-year old. I'm not developing a childlike attitude towards life. I am the child. I am a 5-year old. So, your so called spiritual life coach is a 5-year old. That is how my attitude towards life is. Not necessarily externally, behavior wise, but everything that I do it with a lot of love and a sense that I'm supposed to make the best of this wherever I am. Yes, I do get annoyed at times, especially because of people, and I'm like, why are they behaving like this? But my attitude is that of enjoying, making the best of this moment. No matter what I'm doing, I do it with a lot of enthusiasm, a sense of belongingness, and the sense that this is mine, this whole world is mine. And that is where the concept or the idea of enjoying the little things of life also comes into picture. That I'm doing all of these small things because that is my life, that is life. And through this happiness, then I would like to achieve everything as well. I don't want to stagnate myself, or I don't want to not want anything. That would be a very, very dull and boring life. And that is a separate discussion as well. That when you associate yourself with specific spiritual organizations that ask you to cut off from your relationships, or not have sex, or to not eat this kind of food, or not do this, not do that, then you limit yourself. That is also a choice. That is also a fine choice. That is also a fair choice, but a highly not recommended choice by Awaken with Sagar. So, keeping yourself happy first and then achieving everything, that is the best kind of life that you can live. Again, achieving not in comparison with somebody else, achieving not in comparison with a popular so-called social media influencer, achieving what you want to achieve, because it is about your desires, not about borrowed or inspired desires. That is things that you want just because you see others having them. People usually think that they need to reach a specific milestone in life, or basically have all the knowledge in the world, and ultimately one fine day they'll suddenly become happy. That is not how it works. Happiness is not an activity or a technique. Happiness is an attitude. You don't have to reach somewhere far and then find that happiness, or basically hunt for that ultimate happy status in life. Happiness is right next to you. It is right next to you. There is a tripod here. Where is it? I can look at it and meditate over it for half an hour right now. That is happiness. That is happiness. Happiness is right next to you. Be happy. That is the only way to be happy.